Hello, Iris. Hey, Mace. Mace. Hello, Miss Iris. Oh, this is just the prettiest girl. Look at Mace. He's getting so big. I'm going to come out here because I want to clarify something in a video I made. Because of something somebody asked me. They asked me a question. Or not, well, didn't ask me a question, but they made a comment. And I just want to say, you know, there are aspects of a subject. You can't cover everything in a video or be an hour and a half long. Look at Magnus. Hello, Magnus. Aren't you gorgeous? Look at that foot feathering on that coaching. Cackle has some pretty good coachings, although there is a little bit of an issue with Forrest and Cricket as far as some kind of genetic thing I think they have going on. Let me sit down on this stump over here so I can talk for a minute. Oh my goodness. Ow. Okay. Hey, Mace. You're so handsome. His comb is so pretty. I think Gunner must be his sire because Gunner has a gorgeous comb. Bodie's is a little bit wonky. Gunner has a beautiful comb, and so does Mace. Somebody mentioned, you know, we're talking about do chickens need heat in the wintertime, okay? And the answer was all, of course, it depends. It depends on several factors. It really depends on age, if your birds are in good health, you know, it just depends on several things. But somebody mentioned that the rooster got frostbite on his comb because of heat in the coop. Now they don't heat the coop anymore. Well, there's a lot more to it than that, and I'm not specifically speaking to this person, but it was an aspect of adding heat that I wanted to address. Now, when I said heat, I don't mean heat the whole coop. I actually mean provide a heat spot or two, depending on how large your coop is, for an elderly or a molting bird. When birds molt, they have no protection from the cold. Also, moisture is the enemy of chicken health. This is why I don't let my chickens out in the rain or in the snow. Well, they wouldn't go out in the snow anyway. I don't let them out in the rain because they get wet and they will bring that moisture back into the barn. That's why I don't let them out in the rain. I just don't. Also, my barn has a very high ceiling and it has 5 windows, and they are always cracked even in winter. Maybe their openings are lowered, but they're always cracked. And also the 6-foot roll-up door at the very top has a 2-inch by 6-foot opening. Well, hello there, Jill. Is Forrest after you? I think Forrest is after you. He's predatory. He waits for girls in the barn. My goodness, Forrest. I think no, that's the wrong. Okay, I need to spread it out here. Forrest! Quit going after the big girls. Don't run to me, Jill. You're mean to me, you goofy girl. But okay, if you provide a heat spot, or if you have a small coop without adequate ventilation, you will encourage frostbite. No question. I've only had any frostbite on any birds, and I've had some big combed roosters in past years in 2 circumstances. One of them wasn't a comb. And it had to do with my rooster, Isaac. It's a long story, but Isaac had bad circulation in his legs. He had arthritic legs. He had bad circulation. His feather follicles would always swell up. He had just very bad circulation in his legs. And he would from time to time lose his balance and literally fall off the roost in the middle of the night. And at times he would then sleep on the floor. Well, that coop was raised off of the floor so air could flow under it, unlike the current barn. And we had a night, he had a heat spot on the roost. He had a huge comb. However, that night got down to 2 degrees Fahrenheit. We're in the United States. And I don't think we've had a frigid night that bad since. We did single digits, but not to 2 degrees. We've had below 0 before, but this night it was 2 degrees. He had fallen off the roost. I wasn't aware of it. And he slept on the floor, on the very cold floor on the other side of the room. In the morning, And I didn't think it was frostbite. His toes looked very red and swollen. And over the course of several days, they literally over time rotted, and two toe ends actually fell off. I didn't identify that as frostbite because his comb did not have frostbite. No combs in that building had frostbite. It was his toes, and I thought he had done something to them. I wasn't sure what he'd done to his feet. Well, I consulted a very long time breeder, and he said, gosh, it looks like frostbite. I said, I never even thought of frostbite because his comb is fine. Everybody's comb is fine. And I said, he felt he was sleeping on the floor. I bet that's why. He didn't have his heat spot for his big, and so he slept on the floor. Well, he recovered fine. He lost 2 toe ends, but all these years, I've only had one other rooster who had tips of his comb have a little frostbite, and that was a day that it was my crippled rooster. What do you see? You got hawks up there or crows? What's going on? And I noticed he had a huge comb. He had 2 tips, very tip, had turned black. And I didn't realize a couple of nights that he had gotten his shavings wet. He could not stand up. He was only in a cage on his chest all the time, and he couldn't stand up. So there was a damp spot, and the dampness and moisture plus heat. He had to have heat because he couldn't roost with other birds for their BTUs to warm him up. He got 2 tips on his comb, not the whole one, just the very end of them. I don't think I've ever had any frostbite on any rooster ever in 17 years. And it's all because probably we keep ventilation. We always kept good ventilation and kept the place very dry. That's the key. You've got to keep it dry, and you've got to have good ventilation. And if you want to add heat, you have to have your ventilation. You have to. There is no question you have to. So that's one thing I just wanted to clarify, that it's not, if you have a small coop, low ceiling, not much ventilation, and you add heat in the wintertime, you might be asking for trouble. However, I have a friend in Wisconsin, and you know how cold it is in Wisconsin. I'll say it like the receptionist in my real estate office. She was from Wisconsin. Always teased her. My friend who lives in Wisconsin, all her roosters with the big combs always lose their comb tips, all of them. And she doesn't heat her barn. It has nothing to do with the heat. It's so dang frigid that it just happens. She can't really control it. She has a big unheated barn and, a lot of ventilation, but, they get frostbite and they lose their comb points, every one of them. And that's just the way it is. So I haven't ever had that problem, even at 2 degrees or below 0. I haven't ever had that problem. Just that one time with Isaac when he slept on the floor, and there was cold air rushing underneath that coop. And there you go. But yeah, my barn ceiling is very high. I have adequate ventilation on 3 sides, and you don't close down all your windows, even in the winter. You can't do that. You cannot do that. You've got to have ventilation up high over their heads. You just got to. And keep it dry. You've got to keep it dry. Especially if you add heat, any heat spot at all, moist heat is always going to be a problem. Okay? So I hope that clarifies that issue. Anyway. Forrest, you were such a goof. Look at him. I still have saddles on these girls. 3 of the Easter eggers, I think 3 or 4 of them got saddles because they're bare-backed from too many roosters, first place, and the feathers aren't growing back really fast. I noticed there was a lot of black feathers in their pen this morning, so Miss Layla over there, she is now in full molt. And, I'm getting 1 to 3 eggs per day, usually 2 eggs a day right now. And so my eggs, I have less than 3 dozen eggs in the fridge. That's way down from 15 dozen. And we eat a lot of eggs. I had 3 this morning, just a little while ago, for my first meal. Cooked in wonderful butter with a sprinkle of cheese. So that was all I wanted to talk about today as far as the heat and the moisture issue. Chickens need a dry environment. Moisture breeds all kinds of issues. And remember, ventilation's up high, drafts are low, basically. Oh my goodness, I see a little bit of little child action here. Oh, Mace, are you getting all flirty with little Miss Iris now? They're so cute. My goodness. Well, I'm going to let you go. That's all I want to talk about. It's already been 10 minutes or so, and have a great day, everybody. It's a beautiful, sunshiny day, and I got to go help my husband work on the solar. Bye.